What's up, everybody? Hey, this is John Kitchens. This is episode 64 of Expert Mentors Live. Man, super excited for today's episode. We've got the whale hunter, Mr. Gil Ramos himself on, and man, we're going to talk agent and client attraction, the little art of the no pitch pitch. So buckle up and let's rock and roll. Gil, say hi to the Honey Badger Nation. Let them know what we're about to get into.
What's up, Honey Badger Nation? I hope you guys are having a great day today. Man, I feel like in the last 6 months of being with EXP, it's definitely changed our life. Specifically speaking, like our bandwidth, I used to think I ran, now like our running speed has become our walking speed. Like everyone's super energized, excited, and moving forward. And it's like we just did an event a couple of days ago, and I was able to look over, and I was like, oh my, I'm not alone. Like I had pods everywhere, like working on, like there was a guy over there on my team working on 2 or 3 people and a couple of people over there. And I can see the energy has energy. So that was pretty cool.
That is super cool. Super cool. And I mean, speaking of energy, just even your morning so far and kind of where we caught you in transition and where you're heading off to. So it's, man, it's super exciting to see. You guys are definitely, you have your running shoes laced up and you guys are getting after it.
Oh yeah. We're super excited. In fact, part of our team right now in New York has made a huge announcement today. So Vincent Koo, which he's in New York City, so we call it Koo York City. He made a huge announcement today. He actually welcomed Joe LeBron from KW to the team. He made some announcements earlier this week, and we still have about 5 or 6 announcements coming up. We just haven't had enough time to be on Facebook Live to just continue to announce people, but we're super excited.
Yeah, so it's amazing, and it's not slowing down by any means, and super excited. We'll have Koo on with us on Expert Mentors here in a couple weeks. So
cool.
Look forward to getting him in here with us as well. So cool. Well, let's dive in. I know going to talk a little agent and client attraction and really give some solid nuggets to everybody on really what's working well for you guys, what's worked well for you for years. And let's dive in.
Yeah. So I came from a model where we were already doing agent attraction. So for us, we feel like we were built for EXP. I know we didn't know that we needed EXP as we feel like today, like we needed something like EXP to give us an opportunity to continue to grow, to run at a faster pace, to be able to develop faster, to be able to, become financially free. We've got agents right now who are having their best year of their entire lives in the very first six months of the transfer. It's because of the collaboration, the best practice sharing of some of the industry giants that are here in the Honey Badger Nation. So we're pretty excited about that. But one of the things that we've done really, really well, and like one of my teams is the #1 Zillow team. We're the #1 Zillow team from Maryland all the way down to Key West. And we do that from a simple concept that we mirror in our EXP agent attraction. It's just adding tremendous value, right? So if you ever seen the movie Fight Club, which was one of my favorite movies, what do they say in Fight Club?
We don't talk about Fight Club.
The #1 rule is we don't talk about Fight Club. And I think that's what most agents make a mistake when they get into EXP is they start to do the EXP vomit game. Oh, yeah, EXP. It's like, and we forget about the fact that we're in this business because we're good at one thing, and that's serving people's needs, right? And we couldn't walk into an attorney's office or a doctor's office and sit down and the attorney doctor, hey, Kitchens, I know what you need. You don't need to tell me anything. Like I've already prescribed you the answer, right? So like sometimes we start vomiting, oh, here's the stock options or here's the revenue sharing, right? And we don't actually take the time to truly understand the client's needs, or in this situation, perhaps the agent's needs, to find out what of the 5 things that people join EXP that they're actually interested in, right? Is it leads? Is it training? Is it being part of a culture? Is it the stock options, or is it the revenue share? And then we try to make sure that we give them what they need. The same we would do if we went to a for sale by owner's house, or we went to an expired's house, or we went with a buyer on getting their first home. We're going to focus on them, find out what their needs are before we start talking about any prescriptions, which is, unfortunately, some of the people that we were able to bring into EXP had been introduced to EXP prior.
Sure.
Like I can tell you a good friend of mine that we brought.
Lost you. There you go.
Yeah. A good friend of mine was introduced to EXP about a year before I was introduced to it. And he's like, the first person that told me about EXP said, hey, you know what? You don't have to have an office and you don't have to have train agents anymore. You can just put them all in the cloud And what's funny about that, John, is his favorite thing is coaching, right? So you
Yes.
just told him that the one thing that you actually enjoy about the business, you don't have to have. So that's like the person who was pitching that violated the no pitch system that we do, right? There's no reason to pitch if the guy doesn't have a bat in his hand. We're just gonna hit him with the ball and he's gonna hurt and he's not gonna like it, right? So we teach our agents to really care about the person that you're talking to and listen to them and give them value if we can offer. And sometimes we can't give them the value. We're going to go find them the person that might be able to give them the value. Like for instance, let's say for instance, someone came over from, a Coldwell Banker team and they wanted to know how to transition. I know some guys who just came over Coldwell Banker. I'll introduce them to those guys and let him offer some value. Like I came from the exit model. My team was the #1 exit brokerage in the state of Florida. We have been for the last 4 years. So, if somebody in the Honey Badger Nation was like, hey, listen, I know this guy, he's coming from exit. It's like, I'm going to introduce him to Gil Ramos and maybe he can help, right? I would be happy to do that. And I think that that's the collaboration that we can offer if we prescribe only when we've listened and we understand how we can truly serve people. And it works with our clients, and it certainly works in this model too with agent attraction.
Man, absolutely it does. And I mean, I love that approach there. And you had mentioned something right at the beginning about you didn't know that you needed EXP. And so what was like the light bulb for you? Like, oh my gosh, that really, is like, okay, this is definitely exactly what we need.
It's funny because you don't get to the size of a brokerage that I had unless you started as a small team. So when I was in my infancy with my small boomtown team, right? So we were just a few guys getting together, trying to pull our resources together and work on conversion and work on profitability and things of that nature. And our biggest concern is what we were paying for leads. And that spot there, the one dream that I had, and the name of my company was actually Unlimited Prosperity Group. My one big thing is I wanted to make money with friends. That was my big thing I was trying to solve. But as we took that journey in the broker model, right, I realized that I wasn't able to commit. I wasn't able to be congruent with my actual goal, right, of making money with friends by being unlimitedly prosperous with people that I enjoy spending time with. I wasn't able to do that because here comes this beast that has to get fed, which is the brokerage, right? The brokerage needs fees. The brokerage needs, the lights to get turned on. The brokerage needs all of these marketing pieces that have to be put into place to position the brand. The brand comes first, right? So, and the farther I got to be more successful in that brokerage model, the farther I went from my true goal. So when EXP came along and allowed me to kind of just rip that off of there, right, all on the top, and most people don't understand how expensive to the agent a brokerage model is, much less to a broker, and I'll be happy to explain that. When I was able to rip that off the top, it allows me to free up a lot of resources, and it allowed me to partner up with the same agents that basically were underneath me at one point and actually get on a level play field. I mean, agents on my team right now can make tons more money than I have. We're all on the same team, one dream. So it's pretty exciting. And then the other thing is like I was alone. At the end of every single day, I'd turn the lights off and walk out, not always me, but mentally, and think to myself, I'm not really doing this for the agents anymore. I'm doing this to feed the model, right? And it hurt when I watched people not do so well. And I had to think of like, I had to compete with them on the same lead. I had to compete with them with the same opportunity. It just didn't feel right. It wasn't what I signed up for. So EXP now, I'm not the only trainer. I'm not the only coach. I'm not the only motivator. I'm not the only inspiration. I'm not the only guy with tech tools. I'm not the only guy offering coaching and development. I'm not the only guy offering leads. I'm not the only guy out there, supporting their families. It's like, it's a nation of an agent-owned company, and what's good for the agent's good for the company, which is different. If most brokers were honest, what we hope for is what's good for the brokerage happens to be good for the agents, which isn't always true, right? So we have to feed the beast first. So I didn't know I needed EXP, but I was stale. I mean, I was doing really, really well, but the excitement wasn't there anymore. I was going in every single day, and while I offered, a better than average result, I was satisfied with that. And as you know, as a leader, that's the worst thing that can happen to a leader, right? To get satisfied.
Yeah.
So I can tell you it's super exciting to be able to collaborate with some of the greatest minds in real estate and being able to offer that team. Just this morning, one of the agents in my team's like, I really want to learn about how to break into the vacation market because, they're offering, 7-8% commissions. And it just so happens one of the best people in our entire market is Carlos German. His entire team is specialized on vacation marketing and capturing 7, 8, 9% commissions. And guess what? Now he's on my squad, and we can we can cross train our teams. And I go to his training, his team comes to my trainings, and it just makes us all stronger. Versus back when my dad was in real estate and he worked for a company where he wore a yellow jacket, and like his big fear was best practices. His fear was letting other agents know what he was doing. Literally, he had a lockbox and a file cabinet with this like $2 lock on it, and he would lock up his flyers because he was afraid that somebody in the middle of the night would grab his flyers and start using them. And such a scarcity mindset, right?
Yes.
And like now, I was like, here's my Dropbox entire link. Take everything I've ever collaborated, because you know what? Even if you're not part of my team, even if you're not part of my downline, maybe you're in Wyoming, right? When you do well, the stock goes well. So it's with that kind of mentality and that abundance mindset, we all do well. And guess what happens to the consumer? The consumer has a better experience. The consumer gets everything from everyone, the best of everyone's knowledge. And it just, it makes me proud to be in real estate again.
I've had the opportunity to know you for several years, and I mean, you always had, a lot of great energy, but I can tell a difference in you, 2-3 years ago to today, right? Yeah. It's like, it's clearly obvious, which is super, super exciting. So you said a couple things there, and then I want to kind of get down into the weeds a little bit for everybody. What's best for the team? And, I had a great conversation with Mike Wall yesterday, and he said the same exact thing, right? He's going in and really focused on, he's thinking the company and himself, and it's going to make it better for his team, but that's just not true. Right. And so, man, I love hearing you say that, when we really want to, if we're really serious and committed about taking care of our people, then, you have to look at what's the model that's going to be the best for our people. And what a heck of a model to be able to plug into at that point in that abundance mindset. So let's get into the weeds a little bit, if you don't mind, that exact process that you teach your team, kind of, maybe a step-by-step of the no pitch, how to approach it, to start that initial conversation, and just kind of walk people through your process.
What we always say is that, the opening to the conversation, you already know, right? I can get a 5-year-old who just started kindergarten, and he already knows the perfect script. He knows how to meet people. And it goes like this: hey, what's your name? Right? It's super simple, right? The opening script is universal. Just be interested in what's going on with somebody's life, right? It's like, hey, what's going on? Dude, I saw you did that big deal over there. What's going on? What's going on? Hey, how's business going for you? Whatever it is, you would naturally talk to somebody you cared about is your opening, right? But we have to be intentional about our transition, right? And we have to be intentional about, what we're looking to offer somebody. And what I'm looking to offer somebody is an opportunity to have growth. What I'm looking for an opportunity to share with people what I'm excited about, right? So when I'm out there talking to people, I'm genuinely interested. Just like I saw the movie Aladdin. I thought Aladdin was awesome. Like, I'm going to let people know. I love the movie The Endgame. I love all Avengers movies, by the way. I'm a Marvel fan. I was like, I want to let people know. I'm not going to spoil the movies for you, but it was a great movie, right? So the same thing, I would be excited about some food that I ate. I'm going to be excited about the model that I'm in, and I'm going to share it, right? I think that's, and people want people's opinion on things. Like, hey, man, I just saw you moved into EXP. I get that question all the time. It's like, what made you move, right? And when I tell them, hey, you want to know what really made me move? I was like, I was tired of letting my agents down, right? I was tired of looking at them and seeing that, there was more opportunities for them, and I was not able to give it to them because I was trapped. I made a decision before I met many of them to shackle in with a brokerage model. And there's nothing wrong with my old brokerage, right? It's just the same as every other model. Like, most agents don't know that their broker right now is spending, and listen, I ran a shop of, we had about 100 agents. I paid my old model $200,000 to $300,000 a year, every year, right? Yep. And that was money that I could not give back to the agents. That's money I could not buy more marketing materials for them or give them more resources, or I couldn't give them a bonus. And I certainly wasn't going to give them 16,000 dollars worth of stocks back to them at the end of the year. Hey, Bob, you had a great year. And, here's everything you paid me back in stock in the company. I couldn't do that, right? Because I had to feed the beast. And here's the funny thing is, in my model, there was, 7 or 8 of them within a couple of miles of me, right? And think about all the redundancy of expenses inside of that. So the average agent doesn't understand what's costing them, right? No matter what model, I don't care if you're in a 100% company, it's like the loss of opportunity from the training, the development, and the coaching, the best practices that you don't have costs you more than your commission split, right?
100%. 100%. I mean, well said. I think what you articulated it goes on in a lot of, team leaders, people that are running organizations, brokers' heads, right? What solution that they're trying to figure out, and tired of letting my agents down, man. That hit home right there. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, we open the conversation, we get it going, we're inquisitive, right? And like you said at the beginning, we're not trying to maintain the number one rule of EXP, and we're really trying to uncover, is there anything that, just good lead in, good conversation to kind of help them, uncover, as we talk about the gate of the mind is closed. We want to open it up and really be genuinely inquisitive and interested in what's going on. Is there anything particular kind of with that process?
And again, I'm a big believer there is no perfect script, right? I mean, when you're just being human, right? And you talk to somebody the way a kindergarten would talk to them, like, hey, what's good? What's not so good, right? Like, I'm curious, how's your business, man? Oh, it's great. Oh, what would make it better, right? So I'm looking for the piece that actually I can offer value. I'm constantly looking for what I can do to offer more. If I can find that thing that I can offer value, I want to give it to them. Like that's my mental model. It's like, I'm looking, I'm searching. Hey, tell me about the last deal. Where'd you get that client from? Oh man, that's awesome. So you're buying Zillow leads? Tell me about your conversion. Hey, are you trying this? Right? Like,
right.
Are you calling the agent and sending them a video if they missed their call, letting them know that you really want to talk to them? Are you going to the property and showing them, hey, what this property could look like? Hey, I know you were just looking at this property, but I happen to be in the area. I'm going to be at that house around 3 o'clock today. If you want to join me, or if not, I'm going to do a video. Would you like me to send you that video? And that goes by a text message, right? And who says no to that, right? What we find is most people aren't willing to say no. We find that a text message open rate's about 95%, right? Versus the email, which is like almost minuscule these days. We get hundreds of emails. So we leverage Facebook Messenger a lot. We look them up and we pop up right on their screen. We make sure that they know. Like, we want to let them know that we're coming at them with every angle, that we're working just as hard to reach them as we are when we actually do reach them and are serving them. So, I'm looking for that. I'm looking for where can I drop a nugget? And if I don't have that nugget for you, where can I connect you to somebody, right, that can offer the value? I think that when EXP agents are actually out there and they're genuinely like human and they're genuinely looking to offer value, they can't lose in this business. Right. I think that, the same way in real estate, if you're transactional minded, you'll do transactions, right? But when you have a lifelong success rate of building a referral business, it's a chance you could do it, but I'd rather be focused on that. I would rather be focused on over delivering, value, even when there's no benefit or gain to me in the immediate. Because here's what's real about agent attraction. Most of the people that you're going to meet are not yet ready, right? So you have to, and here's what we teach people, like,
100%.
Yeah. So if they're not yet ready and you come into there, you don't have an expectation that you have to win, right? I don't go into a relationship saying you have to win something. I go into a relationship trying to give value and offer more value and offer more value, and we'll see where the relationship will go. But you know what I found statistically? It goes more in line with what I would rather happen, rather than if I just try to go in there and say, hey, you want to trade brokerages? You want to get rid of your brand? You want to start all over, right? It's like, do you want to just join with me? Like, it sounds ridiculous when we think about it, and it doesn't mean it can't work. Like, I used to have a salesperson who would say, it's like, hey, do you want to buy a refrigerator? Do you want to buy a refrigerator? Do you want to buy? You can do that 1,000 times, and you might find somebody that actually needs a refrigerator, right? I'm not willing to do that. What I am willing is to offer people an experience where they can grow, where they can find contribution, where they can connect with other people, and we have love inside there, and and offer them some certainty and offer them some variety. Just the 6 needs that Tony Robbins teaches about at every event, right? I'm willing to offer some of that because I know if we can get them 3 of those things, we can get them addicted, right? We can get them addicted on something better rather than settling for what they think might be the right thing, which is what I thought when I first bought my brokerage. There's a lot of significance in becoming a broker, but that's all it is, right? It's just significance, and you can't cash that, and you don't feel good about it at the end of the day. It's just like, it's like to me, like the brokerage model is like eating a bowl of ice cream. It feels good in the moment, but you're going to regret it long term.
Right. For sure. So I love that, man. It's just constantly adding value. At what point do you look for a possible transition to see, if they would be, open to making a move?
So I don't. So what we do, it's agent attraction. So what we're trying to do is attract them to another event, right? So when I get to them in fact, if you come to one of our agent attraction classes, or we come into one of our classes where we're teaching, like I teach a class every second Friday of the month, and we consistently have a full class for that event. And it's how to become an expert in real estate. And in those 90 minutes, we go over, how to choose their niche and how to differentiate themselves, and, and how to be focused on the right things, how to get your marketing in place, and things of that nature. We give them real life answers to some of the questions that they would have. And then we thank them for coming in. And what happens is people are expecting the pitch. And then what happens is as a result of that, they desire the pitch when the pitch isn't there. They want to know, well, how can they return the favor for you? Like, hey, man, that was tremendous. I've actually had people tell me at the end of our presentation is like, hey, what can I buy? Like, there's nothing you can buy. We don't sell anything, right? In fact, we give away things. That's our model. It's funny. I think I might be screwing up his name. I think it was Richard Barton, was one of the founders of Zillow, or he was on the board. I was at his place, and he said, if it can be free, it should be free. But if it can't be free, it must be free. We've got to figure out how to give more value and give it to them for free, and give them so there's no expectation, right? But there's connection. And that's the thing I value more than anything in this business, because connection gets me paid. Curiosity gets me paid. Value gets me paid. Like I saw before I joined EXP, somebody sent me a link to join EXP, like a text message, join EXP with a link. And I'm sure he sent that to thousands of people, and maybe he had 1 or 2 people come in and press the link, and maybe they joined. I don't know, but there was no connection there. There's no value there, and they're not going to stay because they didn't learn about the 5 reasons why people join EXP. They don't know about the culture, the training, the revenue share, the leads. And they missed out on the opportunity to just take your time with that. There's a human on the other end of that connection. Connect with them. And so we don't actually pitch in there. We actually, until we resolve something or until we actually give them value, what we find is that they come to us. And with the gate open, now we can start pouring in the seeds, right? Now we can start celebrating. Hey, man, like, I'll give you an example. If you're calling a client, somebody in your sphere, and you just say, hey, man, John, I saw that your kid was, playing soccer. He won the winning goal. Man, that's freaking awesome, man. I saw that on Facebook, and I just wanted to give you a call. I was thinking about getting my kid in soccer. I was like, what do you think about that? Oh, right? And then she's going to tell me about, like, oh, and how's the kids? My husband, my new job, right? And then what's going to happen at some point in that conversation is the natural question that's going to evolve to, right? Dude, what's happening with you, right?
Yep.
And I might tell them, my kids, my wife, right? And then I might share about my experience with, like, but I'll tell you one thing I'm really excited about, man, I got a lot of energy about is I changed my model, and like things have been getting better. Like I go into everything, man. My skin feels better. I don't know. Like, it feels just better. I smile more, right? But I still don't even talk about EXP. I was like, dude, I've been a trainer and coach for a long time. I was like, but I feel like now I'm getting coaching, which is improving my coaching. Like, and then they're like, well, what model did you change to? And the questions start coming from them. Why did you make the change, right? So, like, too often we just want to tell them. And you got to savor it. You got to savor it, enjoy it, relish it, be involved with it, be connected with them. They're going to bring the questions to you. And I'm going to tell you, it's just so, it's the same way you would, like, when you first met Holly. You didn't just go in there and attack her. Like, so you met Holly, you're like, I'm the best man for you. No, like, I'm pretty sure I wasn't there. Maybe you tried that. I don't think you did. But
No, that wouldn't have worked.
That would have worked. Right? I'm the best man for you, Holly. I'm the guy. Like, no, you wooed her, right? You waited to see you impressed upon her. You smiled. You showed concern for her. You noticed her, right? And as a result, you connected. And as a result, she has your last name, right? So that's kind of how it works.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, I mean, that's an amazing, comparison for everybody to, cause they can get their head around that, right? They've gone through, the dating process, and, it's definitely getting to know them and add value. But I love that subtleness of, man, just your excitement, kind of what we're focused on, what's going on with work. And that makes them inquisitive, right? They start asking the questions, and then you can answer accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fantastic. Is there, hey guys, anybody tuning in, if you guys have any questions for Gil, throw them into the Q&A, throw them into the chat, and we'll get those answered for you. Anything else that is like, man, you really want to be mindful of this and part of the process, and just some things that that you guys have learned, I know, in a real short period of time that have really worked really well when from the attraction side of things.
I will tell you is that the one thing, I don't care how good you are, I've never recruited anybody without somebody else there, right? I've always tried to invite somebody else to offer another piece of value for me. Like every single person we went after, we brought someone else with us, somebody else who could just be an extra resource, somebody who could answer questions. User upline. Carlos has gone with me on a ton of meetings, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I basically run his schedule right now.
I'm sure he doesn't mind.
Right now, I'm going to Miami, and I'm leaving my car there. He's driving me back home, right? Because partner with your team, right? So what I would tell you is that try to find somebody who's similar to that person who's going through the same situation. I always tell people, I'm the twin master, right? If you've got somebody who's got twins, I've got 2 sets of twins. I've got 6 kids, right? So if you're meeting a broker and he's got 6 kids, you should probably introduce them to me, right? I'm Puerto Rican. I'm from New York. Find things that are congruent, right? So I think that's the one thing. Don't be a lone ranger in this, right?
God dang, man, that's powerful right there. If anybody takes anything away from this, that's key. And that's Jay beats that drum all the time. He's like, that's why you guys have access to my calendar. That's why it's the 3-way call. That's why, it's the same principle, you're leveraging him, getting him on the phone, but also leveraging them when you go to events, right? Like who was your wingman, when you guys brought Vincent to Vegas? Carlos.
Jay Kinder, Carlos. I mean, anybody that was anywhere around us. Veronica was on the call. Veronica Figueroa was on the call. And let me just tell you, man, you just don't know what somebody's going to bring to the table. Like, I'll give you an example. So we were on a Zoom call introducing EXP to Vincent Ku's team. And Veronica in her only way she can do it, she jumps in the middle of the call. Is like, I hate to break up your boy band, but there's some women here who have something to say, right? And she, the whole crowd starts screaming and laughing and clapping and stuff like that. And it's just like, I heard Jason Abrams say, not Jason Abrams, the guy from Sync, I forget his name, but he said, try to be more human more often. It's like, you just don't know what spice someone's going to bring to the recipe that you think you had the perfect taste for, right? But Veronica comes in and puts just a little bit of cinnamon on it, and Carlos brings a little bit of sugar on it, and I might bring a little bit of nutmeg, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, that tastes really, really good. And we're going to share that together. We're going to eat from that, and it just makes the meal just so much better. And I think about that when we're getting together, and who's the right people to meet with this person.
Mm-hmm.
Who might be, we always talk about in training is like, we have new agents who might start with us, and they see somebody else who's was like, oh my God, that guy's incredible. Well, he's just a few chapters ahead of you in the same book you're in, right?
Right.
So it's like, we can model his experience, we can model his habits, and we can actually get the same result. But make no mistake, it's not talent that wins this business. I'm actually an introvert by nature. Like, if you left me alone, I would be in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and you wouldn't see me all day, right? what drives me is other people. What drives me is actually serving other people. Actually, that's exciting. But if I have nobody to serve, I'm at home with my wife. Like, I'm just chilling, right? And
sure.
that's it. So
100%. 100%. And, I just, you sparked some things, I just remember, when we were in Vegas sitting there, with, sitting there with Vincent, myself and you and Gene Frederick, and, we were all sitting there, and it's just, you never know. I mean, that was an amazing conversation, right? It's just things, you never know what is going to be said that's going to bring, that's really going to resonate with that individual at that time. So I think the other lesson, wherever you go, have somebody with you, but the other lesson, get to the events, right? We were talking about that before we jumped on the call here, just chatting through. I was like, hey, you going to Vegas? Yep, I'll be there. Yep. Hey, you going to Vegas again? Yep, I'll be there. Hey, you coming to Key West? Yep, I'll be there. So it's really, really important. But I think the point there is, don't come by yourself, right? I mean, there'll be other people there to connect with, but you better be bringing folks with you.
Well, there's two people you have to bring, right? You have to bring the person that's who just needs a little bit more energy, needs to be a little more inspired, who just needs to have their faith built a little bit more. And then you got to bring the person you're introducing for the first time, right? So they can experience. So you've got to make sure that if you go to an event, that those two people, or it might not just be two people, but those two identities are there with you. Like, we'll bring 20, 30 people to Brent Grove event, August 20th, 22nd. But some of those 20, 25 people will be people who are already in the fold, who are just continuing to push forward, right? Who just need to continue to hear the same repetition is the key to success, right? And then we're going to bring some people who are on the outskirts, who are thinking about it, who are going to be able to be part of that culture, and we're going to be able to put them in there and kind of like, okay, let's go, let's run, let's go, right? So, and then you've got to be there, right? Because by watching someone else go through that process, it strengthens your faith. We just had Tim Hersha from Tony Robbins' organization at our office. He talked about the success cycle, and he talks about the 4 boxes, right? And I used to get it wrong. In fact, if you read my emails, on almost every email I wrote, actions get results, right? And that was my big belief. But that's not the genesis of success. It's not action. It's actually beliefs, right? It's the belief that unlocks a potential that brings you into your action mode, right? And how much action are you going to have if you have a low belief? You're not going to take a lot of action. But when you go to a Vegas event and you see people go on the stage one after another, I did it. This is how I did it. I've got 300 people in my downline. I'm financially free. That last month, EXP paid my mortgage and my car insurance. And you start seeing all those success stories, is like your belief goes up, which allows you to unlock some of the potential you've been kind of holding back on, right? You've just been like, it's the same way. And then you go into more action and get more results. And when you get more results, guess what happens to your belief? Your belief gets a little bit more because you're encouraged. You're encouraged, like, oh, that shit worked. Let me do it again, right? So you go through and guess what happens? Boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden people start seeing this and they're like, I want to do that too, right? And their belief goes up. So like those two people have to be on the plane with you, no matter wherever it is. And like, you don't miss an event. If you're serious about changing lives and changing and getting people to the next level, then you have to have them experience something on another level. Like most people, like you and I are junkies, but most people have never been to an event like a Brent Grove event, or like, oh, I heard the grapevine that EGS might be coming back, Exponential Growth Summit, which, by the way, was probably the genesis for me to my career. Like I was already doing good, but once I saw that you were capable of doing so much more, it changed my life. Like I tell people, it's like, how many listings do you want to get this month? And they're like, oh, I want to get like 2 or 3. I was like, well, what if your goal was 400 listings this month? No, I can't get 400 listings. Who would you have to become, and what would you have to change? And
right.
And if you can focus on that portion, you're probably going to solve the things that are necessary for you to at least be able to get 4, right? Or 8. So, that's the whole Grant Cardone 10X model, which most people don't get because he's kind of like out there and arrogant and stuff like that. They don't actually listen to the key message. Is like, who do you have to become to be 10Xing, right? On every level. And what has to change, and what do you have to invite into your life, and what do you have to, start doing on a daily basis? The first time I ever saw read the compound effect is you guys gave it to me over at EGS. Yeah. And Darren Hardy was on the stage, and I learned about like how if you did something that wasn't very sexy over and over and over, it became sexy, right? and the compound effect of everything that you do that's good, and also the compound effect of doing things bad, like that bowl of ice cream. Like you do it one time, I'm not getting 5 pounds, but if I keep doing it, I'm guaranteed to gain 5 pounds, right?
Right.
So, those are those things when you start inviting people to these events, they get to experience it just like you did, and you grow together, and you have experiences. And the other term my boy Sean taught me is magical moments, right? Like you keep that in your heart and you grow from that, and everyone kind of continues. Everyone I've seen who's been in this whole growth mindset is about 19 inches taller spiritually, right? As they walk around, and that's a very attractive. And that's the key to the attraction model, right? How do you make yourself more attractive? Well, you go out to these events and you learn some new stuff so you can share it and offer more value. I can tell you my entire team knew that I would go to Exponential Growth Summit, and I would go there and I would take notes. And the very next meeting that was going to happen after I came back from EGS was going to be absolute fire.
Fire.
Right?
Yep.
So, like, if that comes back, I'm super excited. Front row seats, call me in.
I may know the guy that kind of instigated that. So I can tell you there's going to be a strong probability that happens, and it'll be later next year, and but the announcement will come pretty quick. So
nice. I'm glad to hear that.
Keep everybody posted.
I think the world needs that.
I think it's time, and
it's time.
It definitely is. Awesome, brother, man. I appreciate you just jumping in out of your crazy, hectic whale hunting schedule to add some massive value back to the Honey Badger Nation, and definitely look forward to doing it again, because I know you bring a wealth of insight and knowledge that you can share upon us Honey Badgers.
Well, I just want to say thank you to the Honey Badger Nation, because I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't, right? I met Carlos at Exponential Growth Summit. I met a lot of guys at the like Albie at the Exponential Growth Summit. And honestly, at that time, I was surprised that they welcomed me in. I was surprised at that time that I was even had any attention. But that's always been the culture that you guys have had, right? You've built a culture of like, there's no one too small that we're not willing to at least offer the help to. And I am an example of what you guys have been bringing to the table year after year after year after year. And you guys have, changed a lot of people's lives. So I welcome anytime I can be with you or anybody in the Honey Badger Nation and offer value back.
That's awesome, man.
I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, we appreciate that big time. So thank you guys. Make sure you guys give lots of love to Gil, and safe travels, brother. I can't wait to see you in Vegas.
Take care. See you soon.